The Gemara in Brachot on Daf Tet Zayin Amud Bet 16b and through 17a Yud Zayin Amud Aleph records 12 different personal tefillot which were recited by Talmudic sages following their completion of the Shmona Esrei. Batar the Messiah Tzlute. The first is a tefillah that was offered by Rabbi Lazar, who said, Yiratzon milfanecha Hashem Elokeinu, who prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, may it be your will, Lord our God, shetishkon befureinu ahava ve'achva v'shalom bereut, that you'll cause to dwell in our midst love and brotherhood, peace and friendship. And he continued for another few lines with personal prayer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Each of these 12 tefillot are very different than the Shmona Esrei itself, because each is phrased in the singular, personal, and not plural in the communal form. And each, in the time of the Gemara, are identified as being after the Shmona Esrei concluded. The penultimate of those brachot is the one that Mara Berei de Ravina offered, the one that we still continue to say today, the Elokai Nitzor L'Shoni Miram, the one where we ask God to guard our tongue from evil and lips from speaking deceit, the very words with which we complete our Shmona Esrei. Why is this Elokai Nitzor found at the end of our Shmona Esrei? Rav Ezra Bick of Yeshivat Har Etzion suggests because Chazal wanted us to learn that personal prayer has a place within our daily prayers themselves. For while we understand that tefillah is standing before the Melech Malchei Hamlachim, the King of Kings, and therefore when we come every day to daven, we do so with a fixed tefillah, a formal tefillah, just as you would have a formal statement when you come before a king. There is still the opportunity of tza'akah, of crying out to God for our own needs, and not just the communal needs themselves. And therefore, Chazal added into the Shmona Esrei at the very end one of those 12 personal tefillot. Of course, it's ironic that they chose a personal tefillah and in a sense made it formal as well, because we say the Elokai Nitzor each and every day. And yet they wanted us to learn from that tefillah that there is room for us to approach God as individuals, and not just in the formal sense, but in the informal sense, as the great Talmudic sages did themselves, to compose a tefillah which is simpler in language, which may not be poetic and may not contain allusions to biblical psukim, but rather is just straight and direct to God himself. Elokai Nitzor in that sense is a powerful tefillah. It's a tefillah that teaches us that we can also ask for our own personal prayer. And yet Rav Bick points out one more unusual feature, and that is that Chazal chose that we don't step back from the Shmona Esrei until after the Elokai Nitzor is completed. They elevated that personal tefillah and made it part of the Shmona Esrei itself. It wasn't Batar Tzlute. It wasn't after the conclusion, but now it is part of the conclusion. To be able to once again elevate those personal into the communal, to make that opportunity available to all of us. When we say the Elokai Nitzor, we should look at the words carefully. They're not hard to understand. They're prayers that were offered by one person. And those prayers can also, when we need to add additional prayers, have space for our own words, words that we should offer before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not as tefillah, the formal, but as tza'akah, as we cry out to him to help us to resolve our problems and fulfill our dreams.